All right, boys and girls. Yes, and all you peoples. It is the live post-match fan reactions. And against all odds, Atlanta United have beat the reigning champs, Columbus Crew. Woo! My God. My God. What a night. I mean, between the silent protests and obviously a lot of maybe doubts, which, let's be honest, yeah, I'm one of them. Uh, the fact that we were able to pull out a result, nay, a win tonight, is incredible. And with the performance that we had, gotta say it was deserved. But yeah, we kind of have the roles reversed a little bit tonight. Michael is on the other end here, chilling on my couch, doing the thing. And so, yeah, but Michael, let us know your thoughts on this match.
Yeah. Wow. I'll just say right off the bat, this is the adrenaline shot to the chest that Atlanta United has been needing for a while. I mean, there's one quote, there's one comment on Reddit that got me rolling, and I feel like I'm about it right now. And that's that, this is Stian quote, who needs Giacomakis Gregerson? Like that, those goals, those are number nine striker type goals. Like that's amazing that we were able to see that type of production from a center back. It reminds me a little bit of Juanjo Perato when he went on that heater for a hot minute. I mean, hopefully he could keep it going. He's got the stature to do it, and it's unfortunate we haven't seen it yet. But I'm glad he got his first goal and then one to add to it for his first brace of his entire career. He said in the post game interview, that's great that he got that with us. I'm happy that he could share that with us. And against the reigning MLS champions, no less. Yeah, not a lot of people had us as the winners this game. Looked a little bleak. Our possession game was definitely not where it often is typically, but who needs possession when you got 3 points, right? So I'll take that all day. Man, what else is there to say about this game? We played a decent game defensively. We played well. Our guys looked like they had the fight. They had the intensity. We were really interested in winning the second balls and the 50-50 challenges. It's like, I told one of our Discord members when I met them at the tailgate earlier today, it's like, what Atlanta United is going to show up. You never know. And tonight, the one that can really frustrate a team, the one that could potentially beat Miami away, the one that can frustrate the MLS Cup reigning champions, that's the one who showed up tonight. And I hope they make some repeat appearances because I miss them.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's we can't beat the teams that are below us or around us, but we can beat on the top tier teams, and I guess in a pretty lost season in a sense, we can take that at least, that we have some scalps in our toe. But yeah, definitely want to give some shouts out and love to Drew Lightning 491 in the chat. Let's go. Merrick Galoud, let's go as well. And Merrick Galoud, nice comeback win. Exactly. That's where it was. I mean, we were down 1-0, and a pretty cheap goal to kind of give up, where Goose is able to make the save, but it's just from the point blank range, we weren't able to clear it away and get the danger completely gone. And yeah, it looked like it was, oh man, were the floodgates going to open? But we were able to hold ship, and yeah, somehow, with the set pieces that were set plays that we learned from Rob Valentino, that Liam Curran, the goalkeeper coach, set up some of these plays for us. And I mean, didn't we call it for the other goal the other night, where the one from kickoff, we absolutely, yeah, we did business where maybe it didn't come off exactly as planned, but it was a designed play, and
It's
yeah,
amazing what can happen when you sit down and think about what you're going to do before you do it. You
yeah,
know,
right. It's
it seems like as if that's what they're doing, and they, foreseeably feel like they were improvising in with Gonzalo Pineda. It's weird.
yeah,
Obviously, that wasn't the case. There's no way that's the case, but it just
man, I
seems
hope
like
not.
that, and that's weird.
And it's truly what is perplexing is it's the same goalkeeper coach. There is not like
Yeah.
so it was were design plays discouraged or something like I don't know, but obviously there are some moments where it just seems like why weren't we doing this before? Because we were calling for this. I was calling for more set plays where we absolutely were trying to figure out things from the training pitch, design plays to on the pitch, but also long throw-ins, also, uh, you know, us maybe throwing some picks in the box that a lot of other teams, around the world absolutely do to great effect. But uh, Chris James says, so we cheer when we score, but not during the game. Yeah, that's obviously in response to the silent protests. Uh, so essentially, what's going on with the silent protests and all that is, well, you can have your own opinion about what the season ticket increases are for you, and if you're fine with it, if you got the money, if you got fuck you money, great, good for you. But a lot of people, I think, in this economy don't, and there is an aspect of that that is if you're not empathetic to it, cool, that's completely on you. But me personally, like I'm not seeing the value of rising ticket costs, and if people are going to voice their opinion by silently protesting, does it hurt you? Does it affect you?
No, exactly. It doesn't. I'm like that's the big thing for me is like this is part of soccer culture internationally. This is part of sport culture to a lesser degree, in the United States. This is just something that people do. We have different opinions, and some people will say this isn't right. We're going to protest. Some people say it's fine. It's whatever. People are allowed to have different opinions and do what they want to do, and I support. As we are kind of the ethos of our channel and what we do on Atlanta United Fan TV is we try and give voice to the fans. That's what our whole thing is. And so either way, if that's your opinion, one way or the other, that's credible and justifiable to us. I don't think you should shout down or disparage one or the other. So that's the way I stick it out. And, hopefully that's what we can bring you guys to understand as well. One side or the other is just not, obviously wrong versus the other. So,
Yeah, it's that. It's like if you are completely comfortable paying, the 10% increase up to 10% increase each year, where over 8 years you pay 80% more at least. Great, you know that I'm
and if you
happy
can
for you.
afford it, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm happy
Like
for you.
that's your
But
privilege and you're allowed to have that. Like
right,
not everyone is in that stage. So some people feel increases more than others and they're allowed to be like, this makes me feel priced out or upset. And you can say it's capitalism, will the market, whatever, and that's fine too. You can have that opinion. But some people are allowed to be upset and they're allowed to also not be upset about it. So,
mm-hmm,
let's just kind of be a little civil about it
mm-hmm,
with each other and
mm-hmm.
realize that we're all fans of the team. There is no not real true fans. Let's not use the not real Scotsman fallacy and all that kind of nonsense. It's just we're all here because we like the team, and let's not just kind of be bullies or gatekeepers about it.
Right. Chris James adds, "Whoa, guys, love you guys, support you. I'm just not sure that's the right way to go about it." We appreciate your support, absolutely, man. And
I
if you have other ways that
completely
you,
accept the opinion.
yeah, if you have other ways that you want to go about it, I mean, voice them. That's what we're about. You get to voice your
Yeah,
opinions here. That's what this platform is. And as far as any sort of like, we're not dampening anybody's opinion. Like I'm reading out what you're saying, so it's my personal opinion. does not have to be your opinion. And,
Right.
for me, I'm feeling the heat of, yeah, it's like I don't need to spend much more than what I'm spending. Because, again, for me, like where the team is at the moment. So, for context, LAFC, the 3252, their umbrella supporter group, they have a 10-year freeze on their season tickets, purportedly. So, from I believe 2018, they have not had their season tickets raised. So, I mean, us asking for 5 years is not that crazy in relation to that.
And I mean, it's a leverage, kind of negotiation point too. It's just you highball high,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
you finally, come to a middle ground somewhere lower than that, maybe
Yep.
if that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Five is seems like a lot, and it probably is, especially when you are a front office of a corporate entity and you're trying to work out budgets for the next, forecast the next 5 years or something like that. You don't want to have to, slot that in as a variable to deal with. I get that. So, just maybe fewer years, one or two, is not ridiculous in the world of international soccer when it comes to, price freezes. It's not weird. It's not weird at all. And if it happens, like, good for them. They scored a little victory. And honestly, it at least shows that our fan base is heard by our front office and they actually care. Not a lot of fan bases have that kind of, they're not afforded that kind of privilege. So I would think that that's a point of pride to say, like, Atlanta United, yeah, they've looked a little corporate over their time period, ever since, like, the end of 2019. But maybe they're coming back around, being more grassroots, being more with the fans, and listening more to what they have to say. And I think that that's a good thing overall.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's definitely some comments out there on kind of how the Gulch went about it, where don't press us out. The chant going into the stadium, people were saying it was lame. It was where some people were like, oh, there's obviously some privilege here and all that, and yeah, I mean, possibly, yeah, it is first world problems for sure, but it is a thing that we are all paying for. So, well, yes, there is a privilege in being able to pay for entertainment, absolutely, but it is not a do you have to pay the market rate when you can have influence over it. And absolutely, the fans have influence over what the prices can be from the club. We don't have to be shills to the corporate overlords where it's like, oh yeah, whatever price you want to charge us, yes, we're happily gonna pay it. Like that is, I think a little bit of a sense where it might be where it's a very slippery slope where it just become okay, yeah, now we're paying $1,000 for the least expensive tickets. In which case, how much over the odds that would be in the world for the context? I mean, I'm gonna pull up if I can pull up my browser here, like the just the
Yeah, and while you're doing that,
yeah
to address one of the ESO's comments,
yeah
he says, "At the front office, increasing the effing prices with the current shit form, it's been shit for a long time." To address, like, kind of the counterpoint to this,
mm,
because we're not also, completely not, looking into that as well. We're hearing also the opposite end, and we also understand that Atlanta United is a business, that it's a giant gargantuan machine. It's like a cruise ship. Like, it takes a time for it to alter its trajectory, because it's such a big thing to move. It doesn't just turn on a dime and can just maneuver like that. It's a big machine and needs time to change. So when they make their budgets, when they produce their forecasts, and they allocate funds and things for the future, these are done years ahead of time. And so when you have a situation that's unprecedented or something that they did not predict, and Garth readily admitted that he did not predict, the selling of their number 9 and, all the other kind of things that had gone on, especially with, like, the form they're currently in, he did not see that coming. And so he probably readily thought this team would be in a far better state. And so perhaps season ticket prices may have been justified, but that's just not the case. And so perhaps if they're going to right the ship, it may take a little bit longer than just a year or so. So it's tough to just say, hey, wait and be patient for them to make the right decision, because they may not.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you think about it, that could be just a counter argument to the whole thing of what the front office is doing. It's not necessarily F them, they're dumb, they don't know what they're doing. So while we give voice to one end, we also have to be fair and give voice to the other end as well.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of. I'll post it in the Discord for the reference, because I'm not ready to put the browser thing into the. Yeah, it's gonna be.
I'll put back about that a little bit, because 2019 we were one goal, one penalty kick, honestly, that should have went in from the literal reigning champion of penalty kicks in MLS, from going back to back, potentially winning MLS Cup, hosting it and likely winning it if we didn't flub against Toronto in 2019. So I would argue that it's not since 2018, it's since 2019. 2020, though, you have an argument, and I would concede that for sure.
Yeah. Jack Dickens brings it back to the game, which, yes, let's definitely talk about that. Very gutsy performance from the boys. Showed they wanted to play for the badge. Great headers by Stian. Just need to get those deeply players in. But it is very poor and disrespectful to the fans from the FO. Yeah, I mean, to talk back about the game a little bit. Yeah, it is definitely, yes. They definitely showed the fight that we wanted to see, especially going down to a club that has won 9 out of their past 10 games, and then also have scored 2 goals out of 9 of their last 10 games, and then also are not a team that gives up the lead very easily. Holy shit. The fact that we were able to come back from this and win it, and still, that's, yeah. The very fact that we kept the game at 2-1 when, last match we weren't able to. There were some definitely other results from this past year that is definitely not that either. It shows possibly, I mean, anyway, some progress. Who knows? But ESOJ37, you're giving them too much credit, bro. It's been shit since after 2018. Yeah. I mean, no, 2019, objectively. Obviously, the start of 2019 was pretty weird and CCL related, but also, yeah, it took almost a coup from the players inside the locker room to change things around. It took a lot of fan displeasure as well. I'm sure the front office and Frank de Boer did feel all of that as well. And, mid-season made a change from the 3-4-3 to a 4-3-3. And results started to change. And de Boer started to loosen up a lot of the, maybe restrictive training practices that he was, making the South American players really try to adhere to. And so, yeah, it did bear fruit in a Campeones Cup, in a U.S. Open Cup. So, yes, if you want to say that it is, a Campeones Cup, a major trophy and all that, yeah, we were able to win 2 trophies that year. Now, the problem is, yes,
you're one penalty kick away from hosting MLS Cup and likely winning it, because Seattle wasn't that good.
Exactly. And, against Toronto, we, did what we usually did against Toronto, unfortunately, and, let them back into the game. So, and then, but yeah, 2020, the wheels fell off. 3 games into the MLS is back. That's where, I think the front office did start to realize, okay, this is, starting to get a little embarrassing. And so they had to make a change. And so that's pretty much the start of the downfall. Where, yes, 2019, a little bit of it started to peer through. But, yeah, 2020 definitely was the year that, a lot of the mediocrity or worse started to happen. But Jack Dickens, I would understand expensive season tickets in our first 2 years from what we brought on the pitch, but not now, not even close to being fair. Exactly. I mean, it's, you know, if the on the field is not commiserate, and then, you know, you can say what you want, if it's self-aggrandizing or not, that the fans, they need to be put in their place or whatever. Okay, sure, but basically the atmosphere is very important. In my opinion, it's 33%. Ooh, what's happening? What's happening? Here we go.
There's Drew.
There is Drew
joining the call now.
There we go. Okay, that's what's happening. Give me a second here. Let me bring it back to. I'm not usually used to punching all the buttons here, so 1 second, guys.
Yeah, let me. While he does that, I'll read some of the chat. Serious question. I paid $34 per ticket. Is that what everyone is paying? I mean, obviously not. And it's not so much what you're paying; it's the rate increase that people are talking about that they have issue with. So if you think your product is worth $34, and you think perhaps like the rate increase of like cost of living or inflation maybe put up 3%, so you think a 3% increase year over year for 34, make it 36 or whatever that comes to. I have no idea what that calculation is, but let's just say you add 3% next year. Then you'd be like, okay, that's a fair increase or whatever. But when you do like 6 or more, then you kind of have to justify that with something. So if you're looking at 34 and then next year you're at like 45 or something, that's a little inflated. But I'm just saying, for example, to kind of hit the nail in the coffin is that is something that people may go, excuse me, what? Especially when what's on the field, the product is not improving at all. If anything, it's probably going down. And then in club experience, the Delta Club, Mercedes Club, all that kind of stuff, food quality, all these other things people talk about, it's going down or whatever. If you have the privilege and luxury of experiencing those types of things, I am not someone who typically does that. So it is kind of something of their own purview, but it's still a symptom of something that people are talking about. So it's not the lump sum that exactly we're complaining about, or the people are complaining about. It's that it's the rate increase without showing something on the field that merits the rate increase.
Right. And it's also this. So Chris James asked, serious question. I paid $34 per ticket. Is that what everyone is paying? That's what you asked. Yeah, that's around what I'm paying, but reselling it. So people who have club seats can't even give their tickets away at the moment. Let me say that again. Club seats, Delta Club seats, people can't give it away. And as well, some tickets are like $15 for the resale, or all that, way cheaper. So if you get it a la carte, I mean, it's actually smarter to do that, because I'm gonna be honest. Okay, yeah, if you have a season ticket, the paper hat, the bottle, the other thing that they were giving, the like bargain bin things that you get as a perk, that's the only perk that you get. And as well as a founding member, great, you gave me a flag, thank you. What else? It's like I'm not being a founding member for a freaking flag that you like actually make it worthwhile. And so these gulch things that they were actually requesting, I think, are warranted. Where if you have the ability to, okay, yes, okay, we canceled our season tickets, but if you play better, then yes, we'd love to be able to join back in. And yes, there may be like, okay, we'll punish those that have left and all that, but those are your most fervent fans. But at one point, the straw is gonna break the camel's back. So something's gonna give. Not everyone has the unlimited resources to just go to every single game. Because just because you don't go to every single game does not make you a worse fan. I go to every single game. Michael does not. It doesn't make him a worse fan. Like there is not like there is, I think, a holier than thou thing that is definitely being kind of permeated.
It's a gatekeeping thing.
Yeah, and but anyway, hey Drew,
Yeah,
you're here.
Let's address a couple of your questions, and then we'll talk to Drew.
Yeah.
So just real quick, Omar says, "What's the likelihood of RV staying on as coach?" He will be staying on until the next season. So he will
that
be
has been
finishing out
established.
this season.
Yeah.
Pretty much official.
Where
And
just to help you out there, because on 92.9, Garth Lagerway, he did kind of very explicitly say that Rob Valentino pretty much has the whole 2025, and they haven't hired headhunters to hire a new head coach. They haven't started that process yet. So yeah, it's pretty much that writing is on the wall. So anyway.
Yeah. And have you guys heard of any upcoming rumors or signings besides the Russian dude? No, not any credible ones. Only the Russian dude so far. And Scuba Pig says we got to get a better coach if we want to attract better players. Agree.
Yep.
Chris James says, yeah, I don't even bother selling mine. I just give them away. Bruno says it was nice meeting you guys. That was great meeting you too, dude. I think this silence was too long. I understand it, but that it's sad for the entire experience. Scuba Pig also says I have Truist Club seats, but I haven't. But I'm having a tough time selling them. Jeffrey Barber says, who do y'all think Eleni and I will get for their head coach? That's a complicated question. For that, maybe we'll ask Drew. That'll be your starter question, Drew. Who should we get as our new coach?
Yes, please, not Greg. Please, no.
Yeah.
Please, we don't need him.
Not Triple G. Yep.
Please, no.
Anyone
please.
but. Anyone but.
We had the more exciting Greg Ball with Pineda. Sorry, no.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But I don't mind this having Rob as our head coach for the rest of the year. It's not a bad, because right now you've got to buy in for the players right now. They're starting to build around him as a coach right now. And you see where it takes you at the end of the year, and then you determine if you need to go out and find a new coach or if you've already got one right now, which that's not a bad situation to be in for us right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it kind of goes into the fact that like we perhaps are punting the season as well, and it's pretty clear at this point that coaches, at least good ones, are going to look at their roster, they're going to look at the rest of the season, and they're going to say, I don't want to join a firestorm like this. I'm going to wait until it's going to be a new season, and I can get kind of my legs under me, a full preseason, see what's going on, get new DPs, et cetera, et cetera. I just feel like no one's going to be rushing to a sinking ship.
Yeah, it's especially that. We have
Not at all.
Yeah, we have 8 games left, and in the MLS regular season, and 2 games in Leagues Cup at least, if we are able to do any sort of business and advancement in it. But it also is that it's like you don't have a lot of time between your matches to actually train. So the very fact that we were able to come up with some design set plays for these matches is actually incredible. But it's let's talk about this match though, Drew, and your thoughts on it.
Oh, it was a great performance. They kind of picked up right where they left off on the first half of last game. The first half of last game, you kind of saw the swagger of this team back. You kind of saw the team that was playing at the tail end of last year, that exciting brand. Players were taking challenges on. They were trying to blow past their man, which was great to see. We didn't have as much success in this game, but versus a much better Columbus. But you could see that we were still bringing the game to Columbus at times. Yeah, we kind of gave up possession, but it allowed us to play the long ball over the top and kind of put them on their heels, and we started kind of playing through them very, very easily. We kind of embarrassed Columbus at times with how easily we were cutting through their defense. And it didn't lead to a goal in that first half, but it was great to see. And then second half, 2 spectacular headers by Stian. He was a monster on those headers. That's the type of thing that I've been waiting for him to do, and it was perfect to get his first 2 goals for us here, get a win against a top team. It was very well done tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's that.
A lot of people waiting for that because it's the first time we scored a set-piece goal this whole season.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like we knew it was in his locker. I mean, like 6'5" dude who clearly has the ability to jump, and like he's gonna tower over everybody, and it's just it was bound to happen, but it was just not the right delivery a lot of times.
Yeah. I want to talk about that because I was seeing some comments on Reddit that were kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed tonight, the set piece takers from the crosses wasn't a lot of Lennon.
Yep.
It was a lot more Saba. So maybe that's who takes our crosses from now on.
Yeah, it seems like there was a lot more whip on the ball, a little bit more action on the ball. Where, Lennon, it's weird because usually his delivery is pretty decent, but probably one of the top 2 crossers on the team, but for some reason, he's been off it this year, and it's showed in his numbers for sure. I don't know. It seemed like in April something like the wheels fell off of his ability to cross it well, because there was a moment where he kind of embarrassed himself. He missed the ball completely, and I don't know, maybe it just broke him, but it's sometimes you get the yips from something like that happening, and I'm not immune to it. I've experienced that in my life, and it's like I feel for him if that actually is happening.
Tonight when you start a penalty kick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those instances. Yeah, if you don't mentally recover from those, get some therapy. It's important. But let's read the chat a little bit. We'll pose the question to you, Drew. Put you on the spot here. Jeffrey Barbers asked, "Who do you all think will win the league's cup?" It's a tough question, but
go for it, Drew.
I'll help you out.
I was gonna say I have no idea at this point. I'm trying to build my bracket right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know yet.
Right. It's tough to say at this moment,
this is a great example. This is a great moment to advertise the fact that our Discord channel, please join it if you can. Our server is running a bracket prediction competition for the Leagues Cup. If you think you know who's going to win, maybe enter your bracket and see if you can win. We'll be giving out some pretty cool prizes like autographed memorabilia from the team itself. So you guys might be interested in that. But yeah, Drew is going to enter the competition, and he hasn't thought about it yet. I think who did I put? Honestly, and here's the thing: deadlines are July 25th, so everyone still has time to change their submissions. I think I put LA Galaxy as taking the whole thing, so that might be controversial. That might be a dark horse, but
it's not bad because it's not a team that's maybe exactly. They have the shouts for supporter shield, but they're a good team, and so they could be that cup team that's just good enough that has the ability to do something. I probably err on the side of, even though obviously a lot of the clubs are going to be playing in MLS stadiums, but going against the Liga MX team is just besides a year in which Inter Miami with Messi is playing, I think I would go probably for a Liga MX team. But if somehow Messi can recover very quickly from that nasty apple of a sized sprained ankle, then okay, then I would probably bet on Inter Miami. But some people in here, Omar GS says I got Cincy for my bracket, but not a lot of thought went into it. Yep. I mean, that's not a bad shot.
Dude, Columbus has been making a job of like embarrassing Mexican teams lately too.
Yeah.
I mean, they are kind of a Mexican slayer right now. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
So I would never not put them out of the competition. And LAFC has been known to do so as well. FC Cincinnati has been known to do so as well. So there's absolutely some upsets that could potentially happen at least on the west side of the bracket.
Right, indeed. So Chris James asks, is it me or do the players seem to be playing with more freedom? Drew, what do you think?
Yes, they are. I saw it a lot last game. They had the freedom to take on their man one-on-one, which works with Silva's game, works with Saba's game. You saw the confidence Saba was playing with last game. He was trying things. He was trying moves. He was trying little back heel flicks. He was trying little things. When our wingers are playing with confidence, it is a huge thing for us because we have good wingers. They just have had no confidence all year to try things like that. And you see when they're a little bit more free, they take a lot of pressure off of our midfield and our striker. It allows eyes to be on our outside, on our wingers, and allows players to get free in other areas.
Yeah, well said. I mean, it really is that because when you empower your wingers to essentially kind of do what they're good at, make mistakes as well, and kind of give them license to try shit. It opens up the game for them, and like Saba, I think really benefits from that because a little too restrictive for him. It just like he can drift over to the left side. He can play a little bit more central. He's got the ability, being pretty two-footed, that he can do that. But some other people talking about the CCC CCL final, but CCC is what it's currently at. But for the Leagues Cup, I think Pachuca, they just beat Columbus in the past CCC final.
But Columbus looked like their normal Columbus in that game.
Yeah.
If you play that game 9 times out of 10, I think like perhaps Columbus could do a little bit better. Before that they had beaten some of the gigantes of Mexico already, so it's not as if they're something to sniff at. I still think that they're incredibly dangerous in a CCL or CCC run. What else they said? I built my bracket. I have Monterrey versus Columbus or LA Galaxy versus Monterrey. Yeah, I have LA Galaxy up there as well. Monterrey is always obviously dangerous. Columbus is always obviously dangerous. So, but you really favor Monterrey in there. You have it in there twice. So maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, Monterrey, one of the just absolute giants of this entire conference, entire continent, really. So it's tough to go against them, for sure. YoPro says since he made a sudden downfall ever since they smashed Miami, the possibility of maybe them winning, I don't know. Maybe confidence is shaken, but the transfer window just opened, and the pieces that they need, they could go and get them, and they could just solve their problems, but. Yes, they did just lose tonight. Bruno Kubas asks Fortune over Muyumba. What do you think, Drew?
Ooh, what do you think about that, Drew?
Depends on the matchup, because there's a little bit of deficiency in Muyumba's defensive play that I've started to notice recently. Going forward, he has a lot of tricks in his bag. It doesn't necessarily go for goals and assists, but it's good creative play to advance the ball forward. in like a more defensive game, I like Fortune's play more. He gets a little bit more stuck in and isn't afraid to put in a tough foul and kind of get into the trenches and bat and like sit in the back line and sit and absorb pressure. I these couple games recently, I've liked Fortune's play. He's looked very good in our midfield right now.
Yeah.
He hasn't looked out of place. That's for sure. I'll give him that. He hasn't looked like a newcomer to the team. He seems to be, immersing himself in the team and being able to play at a decent level. And it's, you say like, Tristan doesn't get stuck in. Tristan sometimes does get stuck in, and often it results in a yellow. So It's not always great that he doesn't get stuck in. Maybe he gets stuck in maybe a little too much sometimes. But I thought in this game his interventions were pretty good. But I agree with you that it's probably not. It's probably not the most common thing. I think it's oftentimes that his interventions are wayward or misguided sometimes. So Fortune though seems pretty stalwart. So I'm when it comes to that choice, I'm kind of cool either way, depending, like you said, with the matchup.
Right. It's dependent on what we need, I think. And I mean, obviously they were both played tonight, and there was, I think, the aspect where yes, Muyamba, obviously has been, I guess, compared, rightfully or wrongly, to N'Golo Kante, and yeah, I think he's a very different player from Kante, and really, he lacks the physicality that a Fortune brings, where the ability to actually cleanly tackle is important. Where Muyamba, whenever it is against Columbus, it just doesn't come off, and he gets a yellow against Columbus. It's like clockwork. It's just and he's very lucky to not have been sent off in the playoffs.
It's because Columbus has a lot of decent technicians.
Yeah.
Columbus has just like all over the pitch have guys who are decent with their feet, and you gotta be frame perfect in order to get that ball from them at the right time.
Right, indeed.
Yeah, and you gotta think Muyamba is also a little prone to the wayward turnover. It even happened in this game that pass to Silva was really bad and kind of cost us that first goal.
Mm-hmm.
But matchup wise, I would just depends on who we go with.
Yeah. Well, either way, I think it's both of these players aren't perfect. I think we can get players that are a little bit more two-way players, and if we can, we absolutely should, because so far, no one from central midfield is scoring anything, and we need goals from midfield if we want to win games, a lot of games.
That's a question I have for both of you. So I was in a conversation in Discord with some people like earlier this week about what do you expect of your 8? Does your 8 give you goals and assists a lot, a little, a medium amount, or are they someone who are just like they're exclusively creators, or just in the build-up, or are they just like never, like, does it depend on the team and the chemistry that they're working within the system, or like it is the vast majority of 8s around the world at top level play, are they scoring, are they assisting a lot, are they not? Like, what should Tristan aspire to be within our system comparatively to what international soccer expects a modern 8 to do?
I think those are two different questions, but Drew, if you want to answer, go ahead.
I can. My ideal type of 8 for this team is a Weston McKennie type. Weston McKennie at Juventus this year was very, very much a box-to-box 8 that was very creative. He got very unlucky this season not to have scored. He had probably 5 or 6 chances that should have gone in that just didn't fall for him. But he had a bunch of assists this year.